Was that elephant giving a rhino backshots? Yes. Yes, they're making a rhine event. They're making a rhine event together. Next, we will be watching Top 10 Animals with Black Air Force Energy by Casual Geographic. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment in the doodly-doo. This was recorded live at twitch.tv/LuminusRed. Come on in, drop a follow, and come hang out. We are a growing community, and I know you'd be an amazing addition to it, so please come on in and hang out. Until then, I've been enjoying Casual Geographic, and I want to watch more. So let's see some disrespectful animals. Oh. Oh. Oh! Okay.
Black Air Force Energy. Good old Urban Dictionary defines it as a person or an object that has insane potential and is crazy enough to deal with anything without fear or hesitation, regardless of moral alignment, including its own rivals or competitors. And despite clearly taking grammar lessons from NBA YoungBoy, I'd say whoever wrote that was pretty on point. It's a term I use a lot in my videos without really explaining exactly what it is. So here's a full list of the top 10 animals with the most Black Air Force energy. Some animals are an obvious pick, others might just surprise you. But they've all earned their spot.
I do, unironically, okay, I'm afraid of the ocean. I'm afraid of sea creatures. I like octopi. I think octopi are so freaking cool. Do I have a tentacle thing? Yes, but that's beside the point. That's actually unrelated. Do I read a lot of spicy manga with tentacles? Yes, frequently, almost daily. It's almost an obsession. But that's not why I like octopi. I think I should look into that. I'm gonna talk to a therapist.
The animal at number 10, which might have the least clout of any animal on this list, but that's only because it's found one place in the world. Because if this bird were airdropped across the globe, it'd definitely be more known for all the wrong reasons.
I tried eating octopus once. It was disgusting, so I'm never gonna do that.
Starting off is what happens when an animal is too smart for everyone else's quality of life. The Kia is a large parrot that can be found terrorizing the people of New Zealand. And don't let it fool you, this Black Air Force with a Grinch colorway is an op in every way. They're highly intelligent and armed with a hook-shaped beak, which is the perfect tool for Kias to inflate insurance by picking apart cars. You see, the Kia is smart enough to associate people.
Octopi die after getting laid? It's just like me, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we haven't tested it. Hi, ladies. Let's find out if I die after getting laid. No, I mean, like, hey, when just the prospect of a pretty woman being around makes me faint, so I have to imagine that getting laid would kill me. It's just science. I'm basically an octopus, and I got the tentacles to prove it. If you want that, darling. Is this flirting? I think it's flirting. This is A+ flirting. Not beating the turbo virgin allegations. It's not isn't an allegation if I've already accepted it.
And the cars we drive with food, which is why this anti-mechanic is famous for committing the cutest carjackings you'll ever see. Of course, they don't just stop at cars. This feather felon will go through purses, backpacks, duffel bags, and swipe anything they can fly away with. There was even a case where this airborne pirate stole the passport of a Scottish man that didn't.
I tried to get out of his way, and then as soon as I move myself, he's like, nah, move over to the other side. I'm like, frick, where do I go? Where do I go, Casual Geographic? Where do I go?
Want to be identified. Because no one wants to be remembered for getting denied from your home country because you got your passport pickpocketed by a panhandling parrot. It happened to him and it can happen to you. But guess what? If you happen to get your wallet snatched and try to see the Kia about it, be prepared to also eat a several $1,000 fine and even jail time. Kias are protected by the government because it only makes sense that something with wings would be above the law. And it's almost like every Kia knows it and acts accordingly. But it's not just humans getting griefed. Kias will regularly raid other birds' nests and make omelets with their unborn children. What? And they'll use that Swiss Army knife of a nose to remove parts of a living sheep to eat. And there have been reports of them victimizing dogs and even horses. But at least the Kia isn't a legitimate
dogs! Not horses! Why are they doing this to Uma Musumes? I don't want them eating my Umas. Not my Uma girls. Please don't hurt my Umas. I like my Umas. Oh my gosh! Imagine someone eating your flesh. Well, it depends on who it is. If it's a pretty girl, then maybe I'd be into that. I don't know.
Physical threat to people. The next animal's responsible for putting more zookeepers on workers' comp than any other animal.
The Umas yearn for the glue factory, Lumino.
The African wilderness has some of the most ways to F around and find out per square mile in the world. So it makes sense that living in the most dangerous area codes in the world has turned the zebra into an actual psychopath. This oppressed Oreo horse has the strongest kick in the animal kingdom, strong enough for Marty to have written Alex out of the sequel. Which is why, even though lions body them often, every once in a while a lion has to explain to his ancestors how he got flatlined by a high-strung equality donkey. But the generational anxiety of being constantly hunted means the zebra will often one-shot something for existing too close to it. There's 2 reasons why you won't see a person riding a zebra. 1, they're too small. And 2, every zebra is fundamentally a bastard to its core. No, like literally. Because many mother zebras will actually mate with as many males as possible, because if she's shown he suspects it's not hers, he'll violently press her until it's terminated. And if the baby's already out, that's just an invitation for him to demote her from mother to mourning. And going back to humans, zebras are infamous for allegedly putting as many—
Okay, so based of the moms, yeah, go get that bag, sleep with as many men as you want, that's awesome. The men suck though. Wow. I mean, like, go for it, girlie. Go get yourself like a freaking like gaggle of guys. Enjoy. Nothing wrong with that. Lower the volume a bit.
He zoo staff in the ER as any other animal. They may look like horses whose favorite part of a birthday is the finger painting station, but this panda pony's liable to paint the block with your insides if you breathe at them the wrong way. Treat one like a barnyard animal and negotiate your left hand. And because zebras are genetically closer to donkeys than horses, calling it the ass of Africa is a scientifically accurate title. And as the default protein of many of the landlords of the savannah, it's a title they hold with pride, because it's the best one they can get. 10% off is also what you can expect if you treat this barcode horse as a petting zoo. But at least they have the excuse of constantly being plotted on. The next animal has less excuses but more disrespect.
Oh! That is the scaredest lion I've ever seen. It's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. It's like, when you're like, I am the king of the jungle and the savannah. Nothing shall make me fear. Oh, afraid of me. I shall consume everyone. And then 10 seconds later, it's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. It's like, got a little bit too big for your britches there, didn't you, lion boy? Mr. Riona, did you get freaking a little bit too scaredy cat? Aw. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Deer manage to cause billions of dollars in damage a year by playing freeze tag with cars, and that ironically makes them the most dangerous animal in America. But where blissful ignorance makes deer a threat, the deer of Down Under initiate conflict. 9 out of 10 car accidents in Australia involve kangaroos, and a good number of them are premeditated and not by the driver. Kangaroos assault vehicles with enough regularity to commit insurance fraud.
Oh, she's a prick? I don't know. She's okay. Kangaroo!
In fact, kangaroos will regularly beef with inanimate objects. But it's not just a bluff. These are some brolic marsupials, armed with claws, but more importantly a sharp dagger of a toenail. Which is why it's not a kangaroo's punch you have to worry about, but that Jurassic pedicure disembowelment. It's what makes their sparring sessions so lethal. That and the fact that kangaroos start every day with the specific goal of inconveniencing as many life forms as possible. If you happen to fly a drone in kangaroo country, prepare to have your insurance tested. In fact, it's not a stretch to say they hate anything that flies. Can you imagine how ridiculous this could have gotten? Imagine people thinking you died paragliding when really you survived but got mobbed by a pack of roy rabbits on impact. Kangaroos are number 8 because there's really no good reason for this. You see, as dangerous as Australia is, there aren't really any dominant apex land predators. While kangaroos often contend with dingoes and the occasional wedge-tailed eagle, a full-grown kangaroo doesn't have much that can threaten it, other than a bigger kangaroo. So my working theory is, they got cocky. And until nature airdrops some bears or maybe some type of big cat, kangaroos are still going to be out here thinking they can do whatever. Try to change their mind at your own risk. As on-site as these malicious macropods are, they're not even the most disrespectful animal in Australia. And believe me, we'll get to that.
Like, okay, I know that... listen, I know that, like, I know kangaroos are actually, like, yeah, they're disrespectful, they're dangerous, they're, like, super buff, but why they be cute, though? Freaking that kangaroo that was just, like, freaking playing with his belly like
They're not even the most disrespectful animal in Australia.
I don't know, that's endearing, that's so cute. Listen, I don't actually want to interact with them, but seeing images, like, seeing a video like this, I think that's so cute. Yeah, the video is, that's loud, not the Voomy loud. Okay. Kangaroo is delicious. It is cute and delicious, just like me. Serve me on a steak, please! I'm the sauce. Surely me, sure. It's, if not friend, why friend-shaped, for sure.
Yeah, and believe me, we'll get to that.
Scared lion. I mean to travel with
them. The Big Five refers to the top 5 most dangerous animals to hunt in Africa. These include the elephant, the rhinoceros, the lion, the leopard, and an animal so feared it's been nicknamed Black Death. The African Cape Buffalo is a walking attempted homicide case armed with a pair of horns to make most attempts successful. Yeah! They have one of the highest KD ratios against humans with guns. In some places, these tanks with road rage and 50% of the people they go after, and a lot of that is because they will actively seek revenge. There have been stories of one buffalo murder.
Okay, I'm sorry, now my brain's on. I said freaking sand. I think I'm more Saiyan than Kryptonian. I am solar powered in lore, but I'm much more Saiyan. Actually, when I was very young, I thought I was born with a tail, and I had spinal surgery on my lower back, so my brain just like rationalized that because I had like a spinal deformity that I had to get corrected. But my brain's like, no, I was born with a tail, and they removed it because I was too small, and they didn't want me having a tail. And so like I'm kind of a Saiyan. Saiyan Lumi. I mean, I'm also my design is very much Super Saiyan blue coded. Like I always say that. I'm so sorry, my ADHD is so bad today. Okay.
The same hunter that took out a member of its own herd. And whether you're a lion or a hunter, these trench cows get it back in blood. A lot of the videos
too high. Oh my gosh. We need a jingle key sounder.
The scariest version of a cave buffalo is one that's already been injured. Hunters have followed a mortally wounded buffalo into thick brush, only for the freight train with legs to circle back and ambush them from behind.
Just
which is why the number one rule when hunting cave buffalo, assume you only have one shot because that's usually all you get. But it's not just humans getting bodied. Bloodlusting buffalo will seek out unsupervised lion cubs and log them out of life before they can grow up to be a threat. Not like the adults aren't at risk either. Capes will stalk and circle lone lions using the threat of gang violence to give Mufasa a roommate. Which is how the same apex predator that can solo multiple hyenas can get sent up a tree like a house cat. They're like the Liam Neeson.
Once again, freaking, okay, so I mean, once again, the water buffalo, I love this, like, the part in their horns. He's like, help, help. This is hilarious. He's like, help. I thought it was king, but nope, Buffalo King. It's so freaking cute and funny. It's so funny. It's just like nature sometimes has rules, but sometimes it breaks those. Oh wait, like sometimes we simplify nature. We're like, yes, it's the king lion, and we're like, yes, nature's not that simple, darling. Hannah Bear mustache-shaped horns on the buffalo. It's so freaking cute. Wait, that's a Mufasa I'd see once. I think the horns can be can dissoul you. Yes. He's jumped, not fair. He's getting jumped, it's not fair. Like, I think that, like, we have, like, these simplified versions of, like, how things work. It's like, the lion goes rawr, and it is the king of the jungle. But actually, it's a matriarchal society for them, and they're scared of water buffaloes.
A tree like a house cat. They're like the Liam Neeson of animals. Wrong them and they make their life's mission to co-sign your obituary. That first hit was self-defense. Everything after that was a personal choice. And even though experienced lions can take them down, it's still very much a gamble. Especially since they can travel in herds of hundreds. That's also how they earned the nickname Widowmaker.
I know, right?
Because right now there's
at least one woman on Tinder because her husband
decided to hunt a 1-ton vibe check, while the buffalo decided that would be the day he'd finally live up to his nickname.
I live in Africa.
It's a murderous mammal, but like the zebra, it's often just self-defense gone way too far. Not like the antics of the next animal.
Be the problem. Thank you, cheated.
If you're talking about the Black Air Force of the sky, you're probably talking about crows. Or really just corvids in general. Crows are smart enough to manipulate their environment to their advantage. But they're also devious enough to manipulate other animals.
Please talk about how they can hold grudges. I still love that research. The study, okay, if he does, I'm gonna let him bring it up if he can't, but the study on freaking corvids, like especially crows, holding a grudge is the funniest shit I've ever heard. Raven Gang, he will? Yes! I don't know why, but he messed up. Tried to say, oh wait, are these the ones that ran over the Mufasa? Magpies are a-holes. They are. They really are. Let me be the problem. I was at work today playing your stream across the PA system. Awesome. They tell younger crows about grudges and generational grudges. It's so good. Corvids are awesome. I love corvids. They're so cool.
Their own sadistic pleasure. I don't know what that crow said in that cat, but it certainly involves someone's mother. Ravens will weaponize their relationship with wolves to call out hits on competing coyotes. Crows in Tokyo have especially become a problem where they've basically gone to war against the entire human population. But it's not just humans getting bullied. There might not be a worse time to be an owl than in broad daylight surrounded by a murder of crows. Not to mention crows will often raid the nests of other birds for a disturbingly literal kids meal. And that's when they're not just straight up snatching minors in front of their parents.
Is it corvid or covidia?
They'll regularly mob and harass other birds until they drop the food they've already caught. And crows won't hesitate to beat on much larger birds of prey, which might explain why they do the exact same thing with humans to get them to surrender whatever calories they have on them. But the avian onslaught peaks out with the Australian magpie. Now, turns out they're not actually corvids. They actually sit closer to another bird with psychopath tendencies. Either way, Australian magpies manage to be the most feared thing in a country seasoned with crocs, cassowaries, and snakes. And while most wildlife is harmless as long as you respect their space, the earth is their space, and they have no patience for trespassers. To the point where many Australians have taken to wearing helmets to protect themselves from the magpie's malicious intent. I mean, especially during—
he should be wearing a helmet anyways, but yeah. North American magpies are mental too. They actually are. They are. I like them in concept, but they can be a little bit meanie weenies. Oh my gosh. At one point, I had a robin's nest on my roof, and then it was like 2 crows, I think, or no, it was two magpies. attacked it, and like I had to sit by my window and have like watch this battle between two robins and two magpies fight to the death for these children. But sadly after that I no longer had a bird's nest on my roof. And it was kind of sad because I enjoyed watching the robins come and throw. It was really cute, and then they didn't have that anymore. But it was like on my roof, and then we had to go clean up the roof because it was a kind of a bloodbath up there.
Swooping season, where magpies will relentlessly attack anything that gets near their nest. Actual human lives have been lost to this goth Tweety's tantrums. And since corvids can remember faces,
you can't call them goth because now I'm attracted. No, I'm not. No, it's an actual bird. I'm not. I like goth baddies, okay? I like goth baddies. And my brain's just like, goth? Oh my gosh, goth girls? Goth girls? Goth girls?
Once you've been swooped, you can expect the same treatment next year. I think Tizu said it best. Corvids are what would happen if you gave monkeys wings. But at least in the magpie's case, they're only a legitimate threat to a human way of life for the roughly 6 weeks of swooping season. Next animal is one of the biggest dangers to humans all year round.
Hi, Blue Pool, welcome in.
It was really only a matter of time before the river rhino made an appearance. Widely considered the world's deadliest mammal, you may have noticed that hippos weren't included in the Big Five, and I have to assume that's because nobody that has a desire to see the next day would actually hunt them. Arguably, no animal has a harder working PR team than
Gremlin goth in Halloween pajamas is a mood. Oh my gosh. Okay, a goth girl during Halloween is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. I've had goth girl friends. They're not friends who are girls. They were straight, sadly. But like freaking a goth girl during Halloween is the most unstoppable force in the universe. The happiest I've ever seen them. I love that. I love that so much for them. Moodang chibi. Moodang!
and a hippopotamus. First of all, it's not the goofy lardonkey lets you think it is. A thin subcutaneous fat layer means hippos actually walking units. And despite their awkward appearance, hippos can outpace any human over short distances, and that includes on land and in water, where they somehow become even more territorial. Hippos have been known to lower the census totals of other animals for seemingly no reason. Just when an antelope thinks it's been bailed out, the slaughter horse does origami with its spine. And even though they're supposed to be herbivores, every once in a while they'll give into the temptation of tasting the flesh of their victims. Cannibalism is not off the table. Science doesn't really know why exactly they do this, but science doesn't account for an animal just being a dick. Few predators will press this obese water pig, and those that do so at their own risk. Hippos are so carnage happy that the biggest threat to a baby hippo is a bigger, meaner bull hippo.
Also the fact that so it's just a tank, but it's not just a tank, it's a fast tank. It's like a tank with the speed of the proportional speed of a sports car. Like it's like it shouldn't be as durable as it is, as strong as it is, while also being super fast. Like everything about a hippo like feels like it is defying physics. Like it looks like it should be slow, lumbering, calm, and peaceful, but it's a giant murder machine that can run at you at Mach 12. I mean proportionally, is what I'm saying.
That's how a hippo baby shower can legitimately end in a rain of flesh confetti. Now, to be fair, plenty of animals resort to infanticide. Hippos are just really mean about it. Like I said, nobody's PR team works harder. Except maybe dolphins. Which makes sense, since despite resembling ungulates like warthogs and rhinos, the hippo's closest living relatives are actually cetaceans like dolphins and whales. But instead of making it out in the ocean, hippos decided to make a living griefing everything in its area code. And I didn't even mention the way they claim that area code.
Emo alt goth, so good, so good. Oh. Yeah, no! Why is it behind me?
You know, if you unsubscribed right now, I wouldn't blame you. The only thing that can make this whale Karen more of a menace than it already is if it were a straight-up predator, or if it hunted in packs. Then again, that would literally make it an animal further down this list.
I'm glad your head was censoring that. I had to feel that!
My personal bias was not going to keep the elephant off this. Asian elephants especially get themselves into trouble by raiding villages and emptying out their rice supply, which is why Asian elephants are responsible for the bulk of human hashtags, especially since they can be just as vengeful as the Cape buffalo. Earlier this year, a man in Thailand had an elephant working hauling wood in the brutal heat, which is illegal, and apparently the elephant knew his rights because he proceeded to rip his boss in half. And of course, we gotta address the better than that. One elephant traveled over 100 miles to murk a 70-year-old woman collecting water, only to pull up to her funeral to attack the soul evicted body, this time in front of her family. The biggest mystery of mankind is what motivated a 4-ton pachyderm to pack up an elderly woman twice. If he had a reason, it's not like he's gonna tell us. Elephants rank over hippos because where hippos commit war crimes in the heat of passion, When an elephant catches a body, you can almost be certain it was premeditated. And it's in populations that have been fragmented by poaching, where young male elephants really fly off the handle. And bull elephants are already pretty high-strung as it is, but they managed to get worse in communities decimated by poaching, to the point where 3 elephants in South Africa were responsible for deleting 63 rhinos as well as charging at people. Now, to be fair, poaching typically targets older bulls, and research shows that without old heads around, younger male elephants go into must a lot sooner than they should, which I get. What I don't get is why that has to involve turning a rhino from a tight end to a wideout. What you have to remember is that elephants are intelligent enough to experience every human emotion like compassion, empathy, and grief. But for every headline like this, you might get a
They feel all the same emotions as us, including rage. That was hilarious, just getting freaking bitch slapped by an elephant. That would hurt a lot, but as a story later on would be really funny if he survived that. I'm not sure if he can survive that. I don't know how much force their trucks have. Like, was that elephant giving a rhino backshots? Yes. Yes, they're making a rhine event. They're making a rhine event together. Or an Elano. It's an Elano, yeah. They're making an Elano. That's the way to combine these. Rhinofit makes more sense, but an Elano, no.
Headline like this. No. And if elephants wore shoes, they'd rock the biggest black Air Forces the world's ever seen. But that's only because the next animal on this list doesn't have legs. One of the biggest injustices of cinema is that where dolphins got cast as a lovable flipper, sharks got typecast as Jaws. Dolphins are the most disrespectful beings in the ocean. Makes sense because they're basically intelligent hydrodynamic hippos. They regularly bully sharks, use fish heads and live eels as marital aids, commit unprovoked acts of porpoiside, all while letting humanity think they're the good guys. They have mating practices so brutal that I probably can't even talk about them. Just know that what dolphins like to do to each other, guidelines might try to do to me.
Listen, but I know that dolphins are worse than sharks, but like they don't scare me as much. I know they're pure evil, but they don't look as scary.
Can't talk about dolphins without talking about the biggest dolphin of all. The orca is the most dominant apex predator on the planet that isn't human. And as if sheer size and intelligence wasn't enough, they typically hunt in pods with the coordination of a wolf pack, which is how this oppressive sea Oreo regularly griefs the tankiest animals on the planet. They're such a force that great whites have been known to abandon hunting grounds for up to a year once this steroid quality guppy makes an appearance. Probably because they've been known to use the shark's biology against them to rob them of their heart and liver, just to leave the rest of the shark to sink to the abyss. And then there's the fact that orcas often practice their craft on other animals. Which is why if you ever feel bad about penguins getting bullied by seals, I suggest you see what happens when a Navy SEAL joins the Air Force. And while you could chalk this up to hunting strategy, there's also the chance that living life on Roku difficulty means orcas get bored and just start trying stuff. And while
Have I seen a shark video? You just saw me actually like recoil and run away from my computer when I saw a shark on screen. Okay? I got actually like fucking scared there and I had to walk away. The shark, me watching a shark video would be me in the other room. That would not be a react video. That would be just like me playing his video in a very unethical way. It would not be a fun video for me. Why are we shutting out Shy Lily? Cause orcas. Cause she's an orca cat. Orc cat. She's an orc cat. She's an orc cat. Freaking orcas are one of the most beautiful like things ever.
Wild orca is never taking out a human. That hasn't stopped them from actively messing with human vessels with disturbing regularity.
Damn right.
It's like they know who's ruining the ocean and adjust their behavior accordingly. Either way, orcas are the humans of all things. Moral of the story, Free Willy should have been put on parole. The only thing more black Air Force than an animal that griefs everything around it would be an animal that commits atrocities against its own kind.
Can we get out
and
of
that's
the water,
why
please?
orcas are only number 3.
Can we get out of the water, please? Back to the land, where everything is terrible in a different way.
Ask any zookeeper what animal they fear the most. If they don't say chimps, they've never worked with one. A common misconception is that chimps are 5 times stronger than the average man. And while the number is actually closer to 1.5, chimps have more fast twitch muscles, a stronger bite force, and a stronger grip force. Their ability to use tools is fascinating to watch, until you realize that means they're able to create and use weapons. People often forget that chimpanzees are pack hunting predators able to execute attacks with the precision of early man, and that doesn't just apply to their prey. Chimps in Luongo National Park have been documenting attacking families of gorillas and murking any helpless offspring they can get their hands on. Literally no animal safe from the violent tendencies of a furious George. But it's the damage they inflict against their own kind that puts them over the top. Chimp casualties often share the same injuries: a disfigured face, missing fingers if not entire hands, and a non-consensual neutering. Chimps seem to have an understanding of what's important to an animal, and they go out of their way to remove it. It's why I can show you this picture and you'll understand. And it's why instead of organ donor, I have, if ever maimed by a chimp, just let me die on my driver's license. And it's also why you probably have a better chance of surviving being locked in a room with a lion than in a room with a furry chainsaw with thumbs. The fact that a chimp can get pushed 6 feet under by members of its own troop guarantees them a spot on this list. The only way an animal could beat that is if something was enough of a menace to be a legitimate threat to itself. And that's exactly what number 1 is. But before we reveal number 1, here's some honorable mentions. The Canadian goose, for having the most irrational confidence of any animal. They actually almost went extinct, and now they revolve their entire existence around punishing humanity for it. Swans, because what geese think they are...
No, we're going back here. Fuck those things. Freaking, Listen, so many Canadians will tell you that this is a devil snake bird. This is a freaking snake bird. This is disgusting. I hate it so much. Like, okay, when I was in my undergraduate degree, freaking on campus, there was always like 10 freaking chicken cobras. That's the word I was looking for. Freaking chicken cobras. They're freaking... They always had like 5 flocks that were just like living on campus, and like to get between the buildings, you would have to we would form like a freaking like Roman kind of like legionnaire kind of formation with shields, like all with our textbooks. We would like walk in formation between buildings, freaking turtling, because otherwise we would be swarmed and attacked by geese. It was the worst thing ever. Like we actually what we would do is we would everyone would wait up and we'd assign groups to everyone, and we would be like, okay. And the school didn't make us do this. This is something we figured out ourselves. We figured this ourselves out, and like we freaking. We would just get into a formation and then slowly walk together as a unit between buildings. It was ridiculous. I hated it so much. And then they put a wildlife preserve right next to our campus, for the environmental students, and they were setting it up, and then there was more geese, and we were all like, fucking no. Listen, we like the environment, we want it to be better, but can we get rid of these devil birds, please? So they are war crimes.
For having the most irrational confidence of any animal. They actually almost went extinct, and now they revolve their entire existence around punishing humanity for it. Swans, because what geese think they are, swans always have been. Wolverines, because they're more than capable of hunting for themselves, but they'd rather tax animals 3 times their size for a living. Meerkats, for being quite literally the most homicidal mammals on the planet. And now at number 1, to absolutely no one's surprise, the honey badger, the most unapologetically disrespectful creature on Earth. I have an entire video dedicated to the exploits of this steroid skunk, but here are some highlights. They'll regularly pinch food from leopards and then throw a tantrum if they get caught. They'll take on packs of animals that realistically should be able to one-shot them, but the Oreo weasel has plot armor in the form of crackhead courage. They'll raid the hives of African bees, the same bees that are 10 times meaner and sting 10 times more than their European cousins. And honey badgers aren't immune to bee stings. They're resistant, but enough stings will flatline a honey badger. But ask the honey badger if he cares. He won't answer, but you know the answer. Yeah. These prison ferrets also run fades with highly venomous cobras. If they manage to get bitten, they'll just slip into a cobra-induced coma and then wake up hours later and walk it off like a Sunday morning hangover. Even the honey badger's idea of self-defense is as offensive.
Cool. I do like they can sleep off a poisoning. Why can't we do that? Can we, on the next patch update for humanity, can we add sleep off poisoning? I feel like a lot of us could use that. I think in general it'd just be a nice little buff, or if we get poisoned, we can just go a little bit of honk shua, and then we'll wake up and we're like, super strong. We do. Alcohol is poison. Well, the thing is, I can't drink alcohol because if I drink alcohol, it would interact with my medication really poorly, and then I would die. Anyways, I'm not drinking alcohol. A little bit of build resistance. Technically, a hangover is sleeping off poison. Okay, so I'm just wrong is what we're learning. Okay.
As you can get. As in, they'll reverse our anal pouches inside out and release a smell so pungent it can allegedly paralyze attacking bees. And honestly, any animal that religiously attacks the baby makers of others is a different tier of menace. Yeah. No other badger represented is better than Stoffel, who once escaped from his enclosure and picked a fight with a neighboring family of lions who nearly mauled him to death. After about 2 months in the hospital, the first thing the affiliated ferret did fresh out was go right back at the same lions to settle the score. And that was only one of the hundreds of times Stoffel managed to raise the blood pressure of the people around him. But here's the real kicker. Stoffel was actually hand-raised by humans at a young age and therefore imprinted on them. He had no intention of ever leaving. The whole thing was just a game to him. Because if blatant disrespect were a sport, they still wouldn't play it because anything involving rules goes against a honey badger's belief system. But that's gonna do it for this video. For more consistent content, be sure to follow my Instagram and TikTok. I try to post daily on both. And to further support this channel, my Patreon's also gonna be in the description. But also, don't feel like you have to give anything. If you watched the video this far, you've already done more than enough. But other than that, drink water, hug your mother, don't hug a honey badger. It'll never end well. And I'll see you in the next one.
If you're watching us on YouTube, head on over to twitch.tv/LuminusRed. Drop a follow, come hang out. Until next time, my lovely lustars. Bye!